We just saw Insurgent, and on this show I take my friends, we go see a movie, we review it in the car, and then we have a discussion. The review part is spoiler-free, so if you're on the fence or looking for a recommendation, you can watch this video and find out what we thought. And if you're looking for the spoiler section, if you're looking for all of the things that we thought about it, check out the spoiler video. We'll have a discussion video with links posted on this video as well, so that you can find that after you've seen the movie, or if you just want to know everything we thought. Cal and I saw Divergent, and were pleasantly surprised by it. We didn't know a whole lot about it going in. We hadn't read the books before going in. And we thought it was all right. We thought it was better than we expected it to be, and we felt like the audience that we were there with seemed to like it. It seemed to be pretty popular. This movie is a little bit less popular as far as how many people showed up to see it opening night. And I can kind of understand it, because I think there were some people that were disappointed with the first one. Like I said, I was happy with the first one because I didn't really have any expectations, or my expectations were extremely low, and it did better than I thought it would. It was a better movie than I thought it was. This movie has a really solid climax and a really solid third act. And everything up until that point is really kind of boring and kind of... You feel like you've seen the movie before. The things that you haven't seen sort of don't make sense. There's some logical problems. There's characters that do things that don't make sense for their character. A lot of that stuff I can't get into until we get into the discussion part. But... for me, I guess I would say if you liked the first movie, you'll probably like the end of this movie, and the first two acts, the first two-thirds are tolerable, but they're not anything great, they're not anything special. It's the movies in general have a lot in common with the Hunger Games movies. The storylines are kind of similar as well, and I remember... when we reviewed Mockingjay, we felt like it shouldn't have been split into two movies, that it really suffered for not really having a climax, or for having a sort of faked-in climax to make it feel like a movie. This, I think, has a better ending in it, and in my opinion, this is a better movie than Mockingjay Part 1. Now, it may be that when that second part comes out, my opinion will change, that the two of them tied together will work better, but this just at least got to the point and got to the climax, and told its story. It is part 2, so maybe they'll split part 3 apart and make me upset, but for what this was, if the third act had been like the first 2 acts, I would say don't bother. It's a waste of time. All of that having been said, if you're a huge fan of it, you're going to see it anyway. If you're not a huge fan of it and you kind of like the first one or thought the first one was all right, check out the second one when it hits rental. Check it out when you can get it at a matinee price or for cheap. But don't rush out and see it, and don't pay premium prices. Don't pay IMAX prices. That's just my opinion. This may be your favorite movie of all time. We're still cool. It's all right. You know, we don't have to agree about everything. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I agree. I read the books and was a big fan.
No, we don't have to.
Oh, sorry, no. And I just kind of, whatever, the whole time I was sitting there going, it just bothered me, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe when we get into, like, the discussion later, I can really go, like, that's what it was.
The first, hour and 20 minutes are just like, ugh.
Well, yeah, and there's like lots of gazing and kissing, and I'm like, does really? It swings very vastly in both directions. However, I will disagree with you that this is better than Mockingjay Part 1, since I just came from watching Mockingjay Part 1 to come to this movie. Yeah, I liked it, but I did not really like this movie.
Yeah, I have not read the books, so just purely from the movie point of view. I agree that the ending was kind of good, and getting there was kind of not so good. I was bewildered by how many scenes there were with two people just looking at each other with computer-generated teary eyes that was like probably like somewhere between 10 and 20. That really distracted me, but like they had a story to tell, but like how the bits came together felt very contrived, and lots of just like almost nonsensical like story threads or how they got to certain points and then they just move on. So that was a bit kind of strange, but it definitely went out with a bang. So
How would
And
you
if you're, well, I was just going to say, if you're expecting the books to fill in those gaps, it really doesn't, because I didn't feel like it followed the book plot too closely.
right.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, because I kept feeling like I'm missing stuff by not knowing the whole backstory stuff, but I guess not, huh?
How do you think it compared to the first one?
I think the first one was slightly better only because it introduced me to this kind of new world, whereas this was more of a continuation, but the like special effects and stuff were much better in this one.
Yeah. I felt like if they had taken the third act of this movie and just chucked it on the end of the first movie,
Yeah,
it would have been better
right,
than having this whole second movie there.
right,
But
yeah.
you can't really do that, I guess. So, Jeremiah, what'd you think?
Well, I think this is my favorite movie in the whole world. No.
Forever and ever.
No, I
right.
did really enjoy
Out.
it. It does definitely suffer from being the middle child. And the book suffered from that as well, I felt like, because up until until the movie started, I honestly couldn't remember what happened in the second book. And I've read the whole trilogy, and for the life of me, I couldn't remember what happened in the second book. First one and third one were totally clear in my mind. Once the movie started, it all came back. But I enjoyed it. I was pretty engaged throughout the whole thing. If you're a nitpicky book fan and you don't like plot changes, then there's probably going to be some things that irritate you. That's my favorite thing about adaptations is what they change. So
Yep.
I really enjoyed some of the things they did, just because if I don't want to see the exact same story, because I can just read the book.
Well, and things that work in books or
Yeah,
comics and
and
stuff like that
exactly.
don't work in
Yeah,
movies.
which I'm totally fine with. I love seeing changes. So overall, I really enjoyed it. I think the first one probably would come out a little ahead, but I think that again is partially just from being the second in an installment of 3. So I think it just so many trilogies have that issue. So this one's no different, book or movie. So, but yeah, I think like Dale said, if you like the first one, you'll like this. If you're a fan of the books, it could go either way depending on your viewpoint of plot changes.
Yeah, and I think the movie's designed to make you walk out feeling good about it. It tries to make you forget about the poorer sections, which tend to be toward the front. So, yeah, so that's our spoiler-free review / recommendation. We're mixed on it. See it if you want. Don't see it if you don't want. Check it out on video if you got to figure out how the story goes, and maybe the third one will be the best yet. Anyway, we're gonna cut off for here, and if you want to see the discussion part, if you're up for spoilers and already see the movie, check that out. So until next time, thanks for watching.